Well, hey, everybody. That was a terrible start to the show. It's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. I'm Nanny Bubby, and welcome to my home kitchen. Oh my gosh, and excuse me while I cough, the steam came right up off of this and choked me when I inhaled to say, it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. I got choked, but I'm so happy that you're here. Hey, Frank, how are you? So today is day 2. We are finishing up the cream of mushroom soup, and we have a lot to do. I'm going to be sauteing these. Let me turn you just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Sauteing these fabulous leeks. I've got 4 leeks in here. You know, they're rarely used, actually. It seems sometimes they're really big in Europe, um, and they give just awesome flavor. They're a really sort of mild onion flavor. It's kind of like a cross between maybe a there's Biggie has not barked all day, and now Biggie's going to start barking. I don't get it, but okay. Um, the like a not a scallion, but a shallot, almost a little bit of like between a scallop and a shallot and a celery, and it's got really, really good flavor. Leeks are really good as bases of soups, and that is what we've got going on here is these leeks. So there we go. You can see in there just a little bit. So I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the mushrooms. Let me just do that. So what I have for this recipe, and let me just stick this recipe here so I can see it as I go down the list here, is I have all of these mushrooms that I've already pre-sliced to put into the soup. And what I'm going to do is just show you just a little bit about, this is the portobello mushroom, and I'm just going to show you how I slice this up. This is so meaty. The portobello mushrooms are just amazing and meaty and really incredible. So there you go. And then I just, because they're very big. Hi, Lene. Nice to see you. We're making cream of mushroom soup today, day 2. You will see that I made the mushroom stock yesterday, and we're going to put that in. We're going to drain it and put it in just a minute. I reheated it, but we're going to take these portobellos, and then you can see that I have these beautiful shiitake mushrooms. Right, these are the baby bellas right here, and these are the shiitakes right here. And I have these shiitakes are very dry, very, very dry compared to the bellas and the white mushrooms. And even though this is more or less a wild mushroom recipe, I am, whoop, there goes a white mushroom on the loose. It just rolled right off the countertop. Um, I still use the white mushrooms because I had so many that were given to me by Melissa Foods. I didn't want them to go to waste. So we're just chopping these up as so, and we will stick them. So now, how many of you know exactly? So good to have you here, Lene. I know you've been so busy, but I welcome you back with open arms. Um, so let's see what else is going on here. And do you all know how to clean a mushroom? As you know, you never soak it in water because it absorbs all that water and becomes very mushy. So you wipe it with a paper towel. And I just came across a mushroom brush. And so when I get that mushroom brush, I'm going to share it with all of you, and I'm going to put it in Game Changers so that you can honestly see exactly how that works. It's a dry brushing of the mushrooms, and I just love the idea of it. If it's too tough, then I'll send them back to Amazon, but you can get them on Amazon. So I will test it, and I will let you know. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these mushrooms. I just want to make sure. Meanwhile, in another large pot, hit the remaining butter, cook over low heat with the leeks until the leeks begin to brown, and then add the sliced mushroom caps for about 10 minutes. So these have not started to brown yet. So while we're waiting for these to brown, I am going to show you, I have to step away. Well, I think I can do it with these rags here. So I'm going to go over here to the stove, but before I do, let me just turn this because what I want you to see is right down here. Let me bring you a little closer. I am going, there we go, move this. I'm going to drain the mushroom stock right into this bowl. So here we go. Let me grab these rags and bring this stock over. And this is about 9.5 cups of mushroom stock. Here we go. There we go. Get that all out. This is just a beautiful stock that I made yesterday. If you were here yesterday at yesterday's show, do you see that beautiful, beautiful broth, for which I just got some of this. And all that I used to make this stock were the stems of the mushrooms. So I destemmed all of these mushrooms, carrots, and onion. A little bit of thyme, salt, and pepper. There we go. Okay. Get that all that beautiful stock out from the bottom. There's a few little things that crept in there, but I think we've, oh, and it smells, I really have to tell you, it just smells absolutely heavenly. As we just squeeze a little bit more out of this, the stock is so nice and rich. Okay, there we go. So this is the stock. You can just see how beautifully rich that is. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's all just water, mushroom stems, onion, carrots, and salt and pepper and some thyme. So let me turn you back around here. And there I am. Okay, guys. So let's see if these leeks are starting. Boy, I've got not enough hands today. This is starting to burn, not burn, brown. Starting to brown just a little bit. And we just want it to keep going just enough just to add that richness. You know, you remember that Yotam Ottolenghi said that all of the flavor are actually in the brown parts that you start to make in whatever it is you're making. And I can see all of that brown starting here. And so it's really important that these leeks brown in all of this beautiful butter. And we're going to add to this, there's olive oil and butter in this, and we'll get these browning, and then we're going to add all of these beautiful mushrooms, and we're going to let it cook down, and you will be amazed. This entire bowl of mushrooms is going to cook down, and you're going to wonder where the mushrooms all went. So let's see how that works. So I just want to remind you that Chef Maria, who wrote this fabulous book called Eat Like You Give a Fork, which I think is an adorable play on words. And she's going to be with us on Thursday and giving us information on a great spinach dip to make for Super Bowl. She's also going to tell us how to make a beautiful vegetable platter for Super Bowl. So I am looking forward to hearing about that. And you can win her book. So all you have to do is just share this right now on your page. I will get the notification, and then you get entered to win. And tell anybody you know who might want to win. And Lene, you have to share. You're done skipping out on all the contests, so go ahead and share today. You get to enter. Lene is our all-time top winner of everything Nanny Bubby puts out there. And so she's been staying a little bit out of the loop, but come on in, Lene. I miss you when you're not there. And then it gets everybody riled up because they just want to see if they can beat you. So it's amazing. I did not know Lene before the show started on Facebook, and Lene found us here, and we have become actually very good friends, which I really appreciate, as Frank has. So, okay, I think these are not exactly brown. Maybe I could let them go just a little bit more. So what are you doing, or what are you cooking for Super Bowl? Let's just ask that. Why don't you give me just a little bit of feedback here and tell me about your Super Bowl favorite meals to eat, and tell me about your Super Bowl preparations. Anybody can offer some thoughts? I love to hear what everybody is doing. I really have not settled on my own Super Bowl meals. Usually I try to match the meals to the teams, which if you're doing New England, I think one year we did New England and the Rams. And so I made New England clam chowder soup. We made I don't know. I wanted to make lobster rolls. I just didn't. Went out and got In-N-Out Burger for appetizers, which everybody didn't expect because I'd always made appetizers before, but everybody got a big kick out of the fact that we had In-N-Out Burger as the appetizers for California. And then we did pizzas on the barbecue. I'm stuck on the road, but past years chili works well. So one of our friends that comes to Super Bowl every year is bringing this famous Cincinnati chili. And I'm not sure, but it's chili and it's eaten over spaghetti with onions and cheddar cheese. So we're doing that as maybe before halftime. So each quarter I tend to do a course. So first quarter we do appetizers. Second quarter we do soup. And I'm making this cream of mushroom soup actually because this is California, right? California would be known for a really hearty, beautiful, sort of gourmet mushroom soup. So I'm doing this mushroom soup today, which I'm going to food saver for Sunday. And then we're going to do that Cincinnati chili and spaghetti and everything else for, I think, for second quarter. And then I think for halftime, I'm going to do either pizzas out on the grill because I finally, in years past, so this is our 10th year doing the Super Bowl party. And in past years, what I have had to do is go outside to the barbecue and make everything, and I always miss the halftime show. And so this year in the new patio, we actually have 2 TVs just so Nanny Bubby does not miss the halftime show. And so I am like committed that on some level, I literally have to like make something on that barbecue so that I can be out there cooking and not missing the halftime show. So I don't know. But I'm thinking about meatballs and I'm thinking about eggplant parmesan. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what gives. So, okay. All right. I think that's browning enough. And now let's cook down the mushrooms. Okay. Look at all that. So much. So that's going to cook for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to add flour to it. We're going to add the dry vermouth and white wine because I have both in the refrigerator and I have just this little bit of dry vermouth left, about a cup and a quarter, and this is going to call for 2 cups of white wine or of dry vermouth, which is always my preferred replacement. So you will see that all these mushrooms literally are going to cook down for about 10 minutes. We'll just give them a stir. We'll let them get nice and warm, absorb all of that butter and olive oil. This is on a medium-low heat. You don't want to cook it too fast, although maybe I could have cooked the leeks just a little bit faster, gotten a little more brown out of them. But you can see already these mushrooms are starting to cook down just beautifully. And again, there's shiitake mushrooms in here. There is white mushrooms in here. There's portobello, and there's cremini, or crimini as I call it. But I heard Ina Garden call them cremini the other day. So I'm like, okay, maybe I've been saying it wrong all this time. I have no idea. So how many of you are planning on tuning in to Chef Maria's Eat Like You Give a Fork, which I think is an adorable title to that book. I cannot wait to find out more about it. And lots of fun. Just lots of fun. Melissa Foods is providing for me all of these wonderful chefs that are coming and talking, and that we get to have these wonderful interviews with. And I'm so grateful to them for all of their support and upliftment. They have been sharing our segments live on their Melissa Produce page when we go live with these famous, wonderful chefs, which is really nice. Um, so, so look at already how these mushrooms have started to cook down. There's still quite a lot in here. And at some point, we just may have to add a little bit more olive oil into the pan. And the reason why is that the mushrooms really absorb all of the oil and the butter um, in this pan. And we just really don't want them to burn. So you can see that they're basically just steaming up from the bottom of this pan. So let's see, we might just ladle in just a little bit of the mushroom broth. Let's do that. There we go. Just of the mushroom stock that we made, we're just going to ladle in just a little bit, just to keep this from burning. There we go. And that'll help just cook down all of these mushrooms and keep them from burning on the bottom of the plate. That's great. So you can see how really amazing that is. So let's just move these around. So this is really a lot of turning and moving just to keep them cooking, but not burning, not browning. Though the leek's browned, we don't want our mushrooms to do the same. We want them to absorb the flavors of the butter and the oil, and we are going to season these. So let's start with the seasoning. Let's just go through this just a little bit. Leeks add the mushrooms until they're browned and tender. They want them to brown just a little bit. Add the flour and cook for 1 minute. Add the white wine and stir another minute, scraping the bottom of the pan. And then add the mushroom stock and the thyme leaves. So, okay. So I found this recipe on the Food Network. Hey, Susan Mendorf, you're a little late today. I was worried about you, worried about if you were coming or not. But this is day 2 of the cream of mushroom soup. Do share today's episode so you can get a chance to win the book. And, okay, so look at how much. This was full to the top of all these mushrooms, and these are definitely cooking down now, getting a little bit brown. I love this. Now, I think that one of the things that I would do is I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to this, because I think adding the salt helps to sweat the mushrooms just a little bit. Right, there we go. And about a 1/2 teaspoon of the pepper, just enough. Again, keep your hand raised high, just get an even spread. There we go. Look at that. Look at how this is cooking down. This is absolutely gorgeous. So, and that salt really just immediately began to sweat those mushrooms and really began to cut them down. Look how beautiful that is. Can you see that? Isn't that gorgeous with the leeks? These are wild mushrooms, so I'll tell Susan Mendorf because she just joined us. It's a combination of portobello, cremini, shiitake, and I did add the white mushrooms to this because I had them and I did not want them to go to waste, and I had so many. So let's just give this a minute to cook and brown without the movement. Just looks like it's really, there's lots of steam, as you can see, coming up off of it. Beautiful, isn't it? Get some of those top mushrooms down. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. You can, I wish you could smell it. It's absolutely amazing. And you can see a lot of the water is coming out of those mushrooms. They're filled with all of that amazing. I think this could go a little farther. I'm trying to rush it because you're here and I don't want to bore you to death. But by the same token, I want to do this right, right? So you want to see it in real time, how long it takes. Yesterday I did make the mushroom stock, and that, that I like making soups in a two-part. Usually it takes me 2 days to make any soup that I make, especially chicken soup. That can take me 3 days, 3 full days. Okay, let's keep this just steaming for a little bit. Beautiful. Susan Mendorf agrees with that. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to take about a half of a cup. Oops, did that just go off? No. About a half of a cup of flour, and this is to help thicken the soup. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on. And of course, this is kind of making a roux. Not really a roux, but you can smell that raw flour, and you just want it to cook and absorb until the raw flour smell has gone away. That way you know. And then, go. Kind of a lot. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you want to make sure that that raw flour smell has gone away. That's how you know when you've cooked it enough. And this will help to thicken this cream of mushroom soup. Already you can see that it's getting thick. And now we're going to do a beautiful job of adding the chicken, or not the chicken, but the mushroom stock that we made yesterday. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Hi, Danny Avitz, or Donnie Avitz. Nice to see you. So glad you're here. Hi, all from Susan. Okay, and now little by little, we're going to take this mushroom stock that we made yesterday, as you can see. There we go. And let's just add it. Little by little, just to keep it thickening. There we go. That's it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So beautiful. This is just going to be such a rich and beautiful stock. Let me add some more to it. And there we go. We'll just let that cook just a little bit more. This stock is hot. I heated it on the fire, and you can see this is nice and thick. And in we go with the rest of it. Well, maybe just not quite yet. I chickened out to do all the rest of it all at once. So look at how beautiful this is. So we're going to put in 2 cups of dry vermouth combined with white wine. So it's a white wine dry vermouth combination. Of course, if you've tuned in before, you know that I always use dry vermouth in place of white wine. But in this case, I did not have 2 full cups of dry vermouth. So I am combining some of the white wine that I had in my refrigerator. You will find that the dry vermouth gives everything a much richer, better taste. It's such a good flavor. Okay, into sync with that. Okay, we'll turn this up. Well, I actually am liking the heat on this. So now this is starting to look very much like a cream of mushroom soup, and we haven't even added the cream yet. So we're getting closer and closer. I hope this pot is big enough for everything we're going to add to it. So let's see. I'm going to take this dry vermouth. Woo, hear that pop? And let's go ahead and measure it out. Let's see how much we've got here. We have, believe it or not, we have about well, we've got about 7 ounces of the dry vermouth, and let's see what we've got here. That smells wonderful, and so does it. The dry vermouth just has such a rich taste, and we're going to add and combine this, okay, and into the pot. Can you guys see that? Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Okay. All the white wine is in. We're going to bring it to a simmer now. Let me just turn it up one. There we go. Okay. And let's see. Let me just check this recipe. You know how adamant I feel about always checking the recipe, even if it's a recipe that you write yourself. Because especially if it's a recipe that you've written yourself, you for sure, if something just happens, the phone rings, somebody asks you a question, often you can forget the main ingredient. And by main ingredient, I can mean you can be making this recipe for, oh, I can smell the dry vermouth, for as long as you've been alive, and all of a sudden you forget to add the one main ingredient. So let me get this carrot out. Um, so always reread your recipe, which I'm going to do right now. Thyme leaves, a little more salt and pepper, bring to a boil, reduce the heat, simmer for 15 minutes, and then add the stock. So let's go with the salt. There we go. Pepper. Let me just go behind me there and grab the thyme leaves. So I got these thyme leaves right out of Nanny Bubby's. Let me grab this. Right out of Nanny Bubby's garden. So let's see what we've got here for thyme. That looks beautiful. And I'm just going to drop these in. There we go. Actually, I'm going to put them all in. Beautiful. We'll pull them out once this is done. And we are going to simmer this, bring it to a simmer, and simmer for about 10 minutes before we add the cream. So the recipe calls for 2 cups, because I'm doubling this recipe. It's 2 cups of cream and 2 cups of half and half. So we've got, 2 pints, a pint of the cream, heavy whipping cream, and the half and half. And we will put this in, and then we will be done. Once we do that, we're going to heat it through, but not bring it to a boil, and then we will taste it. Are you guys going to hang in there with me until we get to that point? Hey, Brenda Mills. We're making cream of mushroom soup. We started yesterday by making the mushroom stock. Hey, Robin Slipock. Thank you for being here. Okay, these both are open, ready to go in, but we are going to simmer this so that it gets nice and rich and thick, right? And it simmers down, making room for 2 pints of heavy cream, 1 pint of heavy cream and 1 pint of half and half. But you can see, so when I started, the mushrooms were all the way, all the way up through here. And it was incredible, but you get them into the butter and oil, and it literally cooked them all the way down. Now these beautiful mushrooms are thickening in the mushroom stock that we made yesterday, and we made it yesterday with mushroom stems, carrot, onion, and 12 cups of water. We cooked it down till we had about 9 cups of stock. It was rich and smelled just beautiful. It was so great. And then we've added to this now leeks, mushrooms. We cooked those down and browned them. Then we added a half a cup of flour in order to thicken the broth here. As you can see, it's going to go ahead and simmer for about 10 minutes, ensuring a nice, rich, thick soup. And then we're going to add the half and half and the cream. So there you go. And Brenda said she saw the making of the stock yesterday. So that's awesome. Okay. So this is looking very, very, very good. All right. And, watching a pot simmer for 10 minutes is really kind of boring, but we have to do what we have to do. And you guys are nice enough to hang in there with me. So, I just wonder, after watching me for like 14 or 15 months now, what questions do you have? Like, what questions have you always been wanting to ask? Anybody? I love questions, and I don't mind whatever it is that you ask. So ask anything that you would like, because we have about 7 minutes to go. So, hey, Rocky Nash, nice to see you. Wow, everybody say hi to Rocky. She's joining us, what I think is for the very first time, tuning in to see how I do this. Maybe Rocky has some questions for me. What are your top 3 fave restaurants? Okay, great questions. So, and are you talking about Las Vegas, Robin? So do you live here in Las Vegas? I have a feeling you do. And you probably know that I do too. So yes. Hey, Rocky. Oh, do you know Rocky? Yeah, everybody's saying hi to Rocky because I told you to. Okay, see what a great audience I have. Everybody welcomes everybody into the fold. They're so gracious. They're so loving. And so, Rocky, you have to say hello back now. They're so sweet. Aren't they wonderful? Look at with the hearts and the thumbs up, and everybody's so sweet. So, Robin, I'm guessing that you live here in Vegas and you want to know what restaurants are my 3 favorite here in Las Vegas. Yes. See, Rocky says, thank you. And Rocky, just so you know, yes, with the earbuds, right? Rocky asked me, do I prefer a lavalier mic, or do I prefer earbuds? But I prefer earbuds. And just so all of you know, I am soon, and I mean soon, to turn this show into a 2-camera show. So you would have a tight shot right here on, let me turn this down, going a little too fast here, a tight shot right overhead of this beautiful pot of soup, and then you'd have this wide shot of me. And I would be able to change shots for all of you so that you could see me doing a 2-camera show. And Rocky has been amazing at helping me learn and see and do all of that. So thank you so much, Rocky. I really just have loved working with her, because I know that I have known that there was a better way to do this over the months, because I have a broadcast background as well, you all know. But I just didn't know who to turn to ask the questions, and the universe provided a direction. Ask and ye shall receive, and I landed directly in the lap of Rocky. So I'm so happy that we've come this far, and I'm about to embark on making that happen here in the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it. So looking forward to seeing your new show set up, more Nanny Bubby cooking angles. Yes, thank you so much, Rocky. So let's get back to the question from Robin, which is, what are my 3 top favorite restaurants? So here's my number 1 restaurant. It's very prejudiced that I'm going to tell you what my number 1 favorite restaurant is, but my number 1 favorite restaurant in Las Vegas is Piero's down on Convention Center Drive, because that restaurant has been owned by my father for the last 39 years. So that's the first one, is Piero's. My second one, I really have to say, is Fleming's. And Fleming's is my favorite restaurant because it's right here in our neighborhood. And we know the owner manager, and no matter what happens, we can get in anytime we want. We over the last 2 years, we've gone out very little because of COVID. Even when COVID shutdown was over, it just took us a while to finally get out and start moving around again. But my husband turned 70 right after the initial shutdown in March of 2020. and I wanted to have a party for him. We hadn't planned anything because we didn't know when the shutdown was ending. I mean, none of us knew what anything would be. Um, and yeah, Rocky, my dad owns Piero's. So, but anyway, I called Fleming's and I said, hey, can you guys help me cater Tom's birthday? And so we had 25 people. I made the appetizers, I made the salads, and I made the dessert, but they did the main courses and the sides. And they brought their wait staff here and helped me serve. And it just was a union of greatness. I will forever be grateful to them for that. And then my third favorite, gosh, what is my third favorite? I really have to think about that. Um, and I really honestly don't know. I think that if I had to name my third favorite, it would probably be Blue Ribbon Sushi up at the Red Rock, as is T-Bones up there. I'm kind of tied on both of those. But that's a good variety for you, right? Those are my favorite high-end restaurants. I do like Mastrione's as well. I love their fish. Um, but yeah, that's it. Okay, you guys ready for the heavy cream? And what we don't want to do is to have this cream curdle. So let me turn this temperature down just a bit. There we go. You know, it's funny that when you add cream, it actually makes it feel thicker and richer. So there we go with the cream. And oh, look at how beautiful. Now, this looks like the cream of mushroom soup you dream about, right? Been going to Piero's for 30 years. Flawless service, amazing food. Yes, the service is flawless because my dad sits in his booth every night and screams at his wait staff. And so the service is flawless, right, guys? Anybody who's been there has observed my dad sitting in the corner yelling at the staff. It's how that restaurant runs, I will tell you that. Okay, there you go. Okay, okay. There's the half and half. And as that heats up now, we're going to go ahead. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Look at that, everybody. We're going to add in the rest of the whipping cream. And we're going to just bring it back to a simmer. And the minute we see the slightest bit of simmer, oh my God, look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And the minute it was worth waiting for, right, everybody? Absolutely worth waiting for. Oh my gosh. Do I want to taste this? Do you guys want to see me taste this? I mean, I don't want to burn my mouth because sometimes I try things before they're cooled down because I'm so anxious. I'm going to get some truffle oil and just drizzle that on top, maybe a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese on top of this, and we'll serve this in glass. Yeah, absolutely. Susan says she's seen observed my dad screaming at everybody, but he screams flawlessly. All he has to do is say, "Hey, over there!" and the guys go running. That's how he talks. Oh my God, he's one of the old characters of Las Vegas. Just, just a beautiful man who has got the craziest personality in the world. But I apparently have inherited his personality. It's just that you can't tell because I put a smile on my face and have a softer voice. When he talks like this and gives you a big growl and you jump no matter what. That's his voice speaking. So hold on just a minute here. Okay, so that was my imitation. All right, here is just a little, oh my gosh, do I dare? Oh, I can't help myself. Let me get a spoon. I know, right? Do I do him well, Brenda? Anybody who knows him knows. Okay, ready? Mm. Oh my God. Well, let me tell you the first thing I taste. first thing I taste is dry vermouth, which really gives it a rich flavor that you don't know where it's coming from, what that richness is. But we know what it is because we know the taste of it because we put it in our food in place of white wine all the time, right? Anybody that follows Nanny Bubby has told me that you all switch when something calls for 2 tablespoons of white wine. Why open a bottle of white wine when all you have to do is use 2 tablespoons of dry vermouth in its place, and it actually is richer and better. So there's that. And I can tell you that what I'm tasting now are the different mushrooms. So the portobello, the shiitake. Mm. The the mushrooms are like meat. They are so delicious. Oh my God. Okay. And what else? Let me see. I got a flavor of a leek. Still the richness of the vermouth, but I will tell you, I think that we need to adjust the seasoning. So I think I'm going to put in another 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And you don't have to be too careful with the kosher salt because you really can't over salt with that. You'll get a salty flavor and a little bit of pepper. So let's mix that up. I hate to see that pepper up at the top, but it actually adds a layer of flavor there. I was thinking maybe I should have used white pepper, but actually it gives there a color, a depth of depth. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how that is now. Let me just pour this out so I get a true flavor taste of adjusting the flavors. Okay. So Brenda, you have to text Heather and tell her, my sister who's not feeling well, I promised I was going to bring her a quart of this either tonight or tomorrow. So you guys, Brenda, text Heather and tell her that this mushroom soup is amazing. So let's see if I adjusted it. Yes, that did it. That was perfect. Isn't it amazing just what 2 teaspoons of salt can do? Absolutely delicious. So good. Well, I don't want to just keep eating in front of you all day long, right? Um, and anyway, thank you. So I'm like, even my AirPods are dying. What time is it? Well, it's about 3:46, so it's about 45 minutes we've been together right now. I usually try to make these about 25 to 35 minutes, but we went long. But how could we not? This was so rich in everything that we love as humans. Just the beautiful vegetables, the beautiful herbs, right? The mushrooms, the leeks, the vermouth, the wine, and the cream. It is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So thank you so much for joining me. Remember, share this right now on your own page, and you'll get a chance on Thursday to win Chef Maria's new cookbook called, and I know you're going to love this as much as I do because it's so cute. It's called Eat Like You Give a Fork, which I think is hilarious. And we're going to be making a spinach dip and a vegetable platter for Super Bowl. So make sure you guys join us on Thursday. Until tomorrow, remember on the count of three: 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. Yes, I know you did, Frank. Bye, everybody.